Pastor Lee, Freedom Church. His motivational speech, pep talk, was you have to have people that have hands up, hands out, and hands over. And he was saying that he calls them God, real name YAHUAH. He didn't have you to be alone, that you need friends and people in your life during your time of need. He used Moses for hands up, hands out, and hands over. And what he was saying was the Israelites, they used to have these other people, the Anakims, the actual giants, the civilization of giants. And he said it something like this. And they would just bother them from time to time, just attack them from time to time. Just became a nuisance. He brushed it off that simple. Hold up. I didn't catch it because I wasn't even in the book to know it. But I was sitting in them pews like I was doing something. Come to find out later, I realized they were giants. And I remember him talking about that. And I was thinking like, hold up. He just pretended like they weren't giants, brushed over it fast so he can get to saying when they were fighting, Moses would have the staff up. And that was the hands up, meaning I need some help. That was part of his message. Moses needed the two people to hold his hand up. I'm paraphrasing y'all.
So Joshua did as Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill.
And that was the hands out, no hands over or something like that. Moses needed to have the staff up in the air. Why? Because the people on the battlefield with the hands out, they're doing the physical work. They making it happen.
And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And Aaron and Hur stayed his hand, one on one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun.
When they look back and they see Moses' staff up, they were whooping their butts. But when that staff was down,
and when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. Pastor Lee turned a supernatural giant warfare into a cute motivational speech about teamwork. For anybody that wants to go deeper on studying this, you'll find the connections in Numbers 13:29 and also Numbers 13:33.
They getting handed. He never mentioned they were fighting giants at all. Yo, this pastor's supposed to be in his book. And the way he brushed through it, later on when I started understanding the truth, and I'm like, wait a minute. I remember him saying that. He just ran through it like it meant nothing. Can I keep going? Can I share more? James Griffin. They buddies. They around the same area. Hold on. I gotta do it. I just, YAHUAH, you funny.
Watch this.
YAHUAH. Your pastor lied to you. Tell the truth. But we gon' set you free. Set up free. Gospel trap, let's go. Let's go. Your pastor lied to you about tradition over truth. Matthew 15:3, been deceiving since your youth. YAHUAH asked them Pharisees, why do you transgress? Making boy YAHUAH's word got your soul in distress. Mark 7:8, laying down commandments of men. Why you holding fast to what? Tradition again. Colossians 2:8, philosophy so vain. Following after men, causing spiritual pain. Your pastor lied. Your pastor lied. Following men instead of YAHUAH's God. Your pastor lied. Your pastor lied. YAHUAH.
There was a shooting in one of the black churches, and it went national. And I remember James getting on stage. It was packed. It was like an 8 o'clock service. And Cross Point would be like 4 services deep, all of them just jam-packed. But I remember James getting on that stage, and James said this. I'm going to paraphrase it. He said, can I talk about South Carolina church? And everybody was like, yeah, of course. And I remember him saying, he was taking up for the black community. If you don't like the person that doesn't look like you, he says, you're not welcome at this church. Everybody's like, then he said something didn't hit me until a couple of years later. He actually said, what you don't know is the same Messiah that you say you love and you believe in, he literally described him as being black without even saying it. When he said that, I said out loud, you know how like that random voice inside of a big crowd that goes, we love you, James. And James looked straight in my face and he smiled. And I was like, oh, he looked at me. I remember thinking that. I ain't gonna lie. And then later on, when I started getting the truth, I couldn't get it out of my head. And I was like, yo, James in that book, does he know? Is he deceived? I struggled. I struggled with the thought. I'm over here questioning this man's character. I'm questioning what he doing. And I'm like, yo, the dude is good on that stage. It just didn't make sense to me. They know. They know. And when I realized that, like, they friends, they be talking about each other, like, I was with, Pastor Lee at Freedom Church. Yeah, I was at James over there. It's like, yo, they hang out. Pastor Lee lied that day. James lied that day. What? I'm not going to sugarcoat this stuff. Look, I ain't trying to put nobody on blast. I'm just sharing my experience, and it's real. And with Crosspoint and James, actually, it gets a little bit more personal. You want to know why? Because they actually is sending people from the church to Burkina Faso. That's West Africa, to build churches and stuff. Now, they helping people, but they helping people to teach them JC in our motherland. I can't help but think that. Like, yo, bro, my ancestors got taken from those areas. And I'm realizing you've been sending people over there to teach them about JC, and you said it in front of a packed church. You admitted it, and nobody picked it up. I caught it later on. These pastors are gonna pay for everything they doing. You better open up that book.
Hallelujah Scriptures. 2 Timothy 4. For there shall be a time when they shall not bear sound teaching, but according to their own desires, they shall heap up for themselves teachers tickling the ears, and they shall indeed turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to myths. JC, translated and transliterated. In Greek means Zeus, and in Latin it means Jupiter. Sounds like this verse came to pass.
Start being honest. You are going to be held accountable for everything that you're doing, and you know it. I'm begging y'all. Y'all got to start telling the truth.
Jeremiah 23. Woe to the shepherds, destroying and scattering the sheep of my pasture, declares YAHUAH. Therefore, thus says YAHUAH, replacing Elohim with Aluah, of Yasharel against thee, shepherds who feed my people. You have scattered my flock, driven them away, and have not tended them. See, I am punishing you for the evil of your deeds, declares YAHUAH.
Some of y'all know. You better start thinking about the outcome for you. If you know that information, you're hiding it, then you know what else is in that book, what comes next for you.
Romans 14. Each one of us, therefore, shall give account of himself to Aluah.
You don't get a pass.